So I'm sold. I think this team, is sneakily good. And I think the reason I give them an edge just slightly over the 49ers is because they have a great running back by committee, if we're talking about Kenneth Walker,
Hmm.
and the rookie Charbonnet. Um, and like I said, they, ooh, great spin move out of that. Didn't get too many yards, but great spin move. Um, but I have to give the edge over Geno, just having the longevity in the league over Brock Purdy. For all we know,
Hmm.
it could have just been a little bit of magic he caught from being an unknown last pick of the draft from last season. Where Geno, like I said, has found the system, has developed. He's a
Yeah, he's a
10-year vet.
veteran.
He's seen it all.
Yeah.
Um, and Pete Carroll is Pete Carroll. The 49ers and the Seahawks have some of the best rivalry matchups in the league. It's Pittsburgh and Baltimore esque of a rivalry. So, but yeah, I'm gonna give the edge to the Seahawks this year.
And just blanket thoughts on the Cardinals. Any thoughts on the Cardinals?
I'm on
They're
Raw.
gonna be the worst team in the league.
Uh, the Cardinals might be better than most people think, and I actually think in terms of the worst teams in the league, I think they're gonna be a little bit closer than a lot of people think. I don't see any team having less than 5 wins this year.
Okay, that's
I
gonna
don't.
be a good division. Yeah.
So I could see the Cardinals getting 5 wins. Their secondary is not good, but their offense is pretty decent even without Kyler. Kyler's going to miss the first 4 games. Ooh. Oh, here goes this Lions offense. Here we go. Come on. Um, but they have a good offense, at least names on their offense. You got James Conner, who's been a solid running back. I would argue a top 15 running back in the past 2 years. Um, You have a great speedy receiver with Hollywood Brown. You got a tight end coming off of an ACL injury, but the way his game is played, the ACL injury might not even really affect him that much with Zach Ertz. So I'm looking at that. Um, I'm thinking this team can score some points, can move the ball, given when Kyler's in there as another dynamic. The thing is, they can't really stop teams from scoring, so that's
Hmm.
going to be their issue, which I think is be the ultimate downfall. The offense isn't good enough to keep up with the other
Yeah.
offenses. They'll be last in the division in the NFC West.
I'm picking the 49ers. I
Going
think
49ers.
they're just dynamic enough. Defense is solid. Debo's versatility, I think, is so key in football because it just gives you something that other teams can't replicate, and they have to game plan for to stop.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Yeah,
He's a big
that's
guy.
true.
and I'm a fan of the fact that they still use fullbacks. Use check is it's always great to see how they weave him into the offense. I think in the running game, a fullback is so important.
I agree.
But
And 49ers are one of the few teams that still utilize a fullback.
yeah, it's nice to see. It's like a nod to the way the game Mike Allstott days and all that. All right, let's go NFC South. Let's take it down south.
NFC South. Take it down to the dirty
The
South.
Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and the Bucks. Who's the Bucks quarterback?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh man,
The Mayfield.
he's got another shot. Wow, out to Baker. I never thought he was awful. I just think he
I
just
think this Falcons
wasn't
team is
that
gonna be
guy.
nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think this Falcons team is going
I
to be
think
better than
they're
most
gonna
people
win the
think.
division. I think, uh, they got two great running backs. You've got Cordarrelle still in the building. Wide receivers are pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
It's all, how consistent can you get that quarterback play? I think with
Who is
Atlanta.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Who is their starting QB right now? Is it Woodside?
For who? The Falcons?
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter.
Okay, okay. Nice.
Yeah, I like the Falcons too. I like them a lot. Um, I'm gonna go Saints. I just think they're the most complete. They got the best quarterback in their division. Um, yeah, they got the best quarterback in their division, and so I just I think they also have the best defense as well, and overall, I think the other teams are just a little too young. Um, Outside of the
Hmm.
Buccaneers, those other two with the Panthers and the Falcons, they're young, they're still learning their way, trying to grow to win. Then you have, like I said, that Buccaneers team. Oh, he tripped. Gibbs could have scored. Um, he didn't trip. That was gonna be a touchdown. And with the Buccaneers, you have questions with Baker Mayfield. There's
Well,
flashes. You caught that? How he slipped? That's crazy. He would
well,
have easily scored.
St. Brown with the first score of the regular season.
How is yours much faster than mine? But hey, that's good for the parlay. I have Amon Raw. I'm about to
Hey,
see it. About
The
to see it right here. Let's
parlay.
go. Parlay, baby.
But
parlay
yeah,
lifestyle. I'm taking
how
the
about you,
Saints.
Randy?
Many of
Saints
the
as
same
well.
reason. Yeah, Derek Carr
Amon Raw.
is going to pull up with a vengeance. And for a start, I also think Michael Thomas showed life this season after being injury plagued. So I think, yeah, they've got some, and the fan base down. I love the culture of New Orleans NOLA. So I would love to see them have a good season. I think they're poised to
Yeah,
compared
no,
to the rest of the
definitely.
division. All right, so we got one more NFC division. We are taking it to the East, NFC least, as some call it. Mm,
NFC least. Uh, I mean, they say it's the NFC least, but I mean,
yeah,
I think this is actually one of the stronger divisions in football this year.
yeah, we came
Uh,
back. Uh, I think the NFC least came
yeah,
back in the last
I
3 years.
think it's gotta be Eagles, man. I don't see any other team.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly,
They're an
Eagles,
easy team
fly.
to hate, but I just think their team is so well put together, and
Hmm.
it's just going to win that NFC East. How about you, Quay? What do you think, Quay?
Experience the joy of home suite hosting with help from Ashley. Pay 0% interest for 5
You're
years
muted,
on
Quay.
guest approved essentials starting at just $17 per month. Plus, save on accessories store wide to finish every look. Shop
Can you
and
hear
save
Quay,
today
sir?
only at
No,
Ashley.
no.
I think you're muted, Quay.
It's not like the good old days.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
sir.
yeah, there we
My
go.
bad, my bad.
You good?
But yeah, so like, I was saying, yeah, I don't think you can.
Gabe says fly, Eagles fly.
I don't think you
Gabe
can
said
go any
Eagles,
other
fly?
direction or with any other choice. It has to be the Eagles. Super Bowl contender from last year. They were literally there, runner ups. Um, some people have them being the second best team in the league right now just because of that. They have pretty much the exact same team on offense and defense. Little revolving doors here and there on certain positions, but for the most part, that offense is exactly the same. That defense is exactly the same. Um, yeah, I don't see how you can't say any other team outside the Eagles in the NFC least. But if there were to be a team that could maybe the Cowboys, but I don't even want to really
Mm,
give it to them, just
They don't
wow.
because
deserve it. They don't
it
deserve it.
and it's always the same thing until Dak has shown me more. I mean, the dude's only won 2 playoff games in his career. Brock Purdy probably would have been in the Super Bowl as a seventh round last pick Mr. Irrelevant if he doesn't get his elbow shot against the Eagles. Like, I still think potentially Eagles win, but the chances of the 49ers winning that game with Brock Purdy would have been so much higher.
Yeah,
And, Brock Purdy at this point, just with the playoffs, looks better than Dak. Like, if we're just talking about their playoff performances, looks better than Dak. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. And then Danny Jones looked better than Dak in his very first playoff appearance
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I that makes me even say, should the Giants go above them?
I think
Well,
Dak is gonna be really good this year. I think he's really gonna.
you think he's gonna ball out?
I think he's gonna ball out, but it's not gonna be enough for them
I
to
think
take the Eagles.
I think Dak um plays well but gets injured despite this. And then the
Facts.
second he gets some slight injury, it's gonna
It's
mentally,
over
and with that fan base, it's just gonna be a wrap. And he may need a fresh start after this season. I think the Eagles are
somewhere
the
else.
best team. Eagles are the best team, but I'm rocking with the Commanders, dark horse. Voting with my heart on this one. So I
Yeah,
think we have a
vote on
strong
with your
enough
heart.
defense, and it's always just a mud battle in the NFC East matchups. So if we can win enough of those, I would love to see us make a playoff run. I think Ron Rivera has been with the team long enough that we have a solid group. We have an identity that we're starting to get. We just need a quarterback that can deliver, and game manage. Really, that's what we need. It's
Hmm.
just like game management, and I think we're right there.
Yeah, I don't think you. I don't know if you saw when we did the spiel,
Let's go.
um, but I had told Sal that because I have my own little segment with fantasy football where I do like waiver
Yeah,
wonders and everything.
Okay,
I had
Black
mentioned,
Belly's picks.
yes,
Black
hey,
Black Belly's
Belly's
waiver
black
wonders.
picks.
Negro Damas.
But I had Sam Howell. Um, I said Sam Howell was going to be a really good quarterback to have this year if you weren't going to get one of those big top picks like
Yeah,
the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, as we just, that was a great throw. I heard you talk about it, Sal, the Noah Gray catch that was just made, but I'm about 10 seconds behind you, so I'm just seeing it now. But yeah, so I
Liddy.
really like this Commanders team. I also like Jahan Dotson. I liked him
Yep.
last year, and I think he's gonna make some strides forward. And Brian Robinson, I
Yeah,
really like him at running back.
yeah,
So I totally can see it, man. I do think it is more of a heart pick, but I do think there
possible.
is the possibility because for all we know, Jalen Hurts gets hurt, and
And then the
if he's
division's wide
injured,
open.
yeah, the division's wide open. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not mad at that. I do not hate that at all.
Yeah, that's great. All right, back to the AFC, AFC South.
AFC South. I'm gonna go Jags.
Nice.
Going in the hype, the Cats.
AFC
The
South.
Jaguars.
You're going for the
Yes.
Jags
Jaguar.
also?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the Titans,
Titans are a solid team.
Yep,
but
that's solid.
I
Solid
think it
choice.
is the Jags, but I think the Titans are gonna pull it through. I think Tannehill's experience is really gonna help bring that team together, combined with the thunder that is Derrick Henry, and I really think DeAndre Hopkins is very petty right now about his time in Arizona,
Yeah.
and
Lot to prove, I
also
think.
about
Not really
teams that,
prove, but
yeah, teams that weren't interested in him. And I think he's right at that sweet spot at 31 years old where he's like still in his prime. He's right there, but and he has all that experience. With a
Yeah,
veteran QB like Tannehill, I know that they're going to be locked in. I think that's probably what they were missing, is like a mid-range, guaranteed, easy first down that DeAndre Hopkins can deliver, as well as the big play.
spectacular.
Yeah,
I don't hate that pick at all. I was actually going back and forth in my head between the Jags and the Titans. Um, I like the Jags because I really do think they showed with Trevor Lawrence last year that offense with Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram was amazing, along with Travis Etienne, catching passes out the backfield, being a solid rusher as well.
yeah,
But now you add Calvin Ridley. I mean, just takes the offense to a whole nother level. And if the trajectory has been showing its case so far for Trevor Lawrence, he's only going to get much better. So
Yep.
I can't dismiss them. I think at times I do worry about their defense, which is something that I give the Titans the edge of. Better front seven, more experience. You got a great secondary as well. Two young corners with a good entering into their prime nickel corner with Murphy Bunting. Then you also have Kevin Byard at safety. Really, really solid defense. I really, really like their defense a lot. Plus Tannehill. Tannehill is the veteran. I think he has something to prove. While probably more of a game manager in terms of his style of play, I do think he takes risk enough, especially if he has talent around him. Like you saw with AJ Brown on that team, he was throwing the ball deep. Um, they were making big, big plays in the passing game. Last year, they didn't really have so much of that, and you kind of saw that reflected in his numbers. And so, I think this year with Traylon Burks, the rookie from last year, having a full off season with Tannehill and this new offense with DeAndre Hopkins, as you mentioned, Randy. I love DeAndre Hopkins. He's been one of my favorite receivers, if not my favorite receiver, over the past 10 years. Just I
Yeah.
have an appreciation for any receiver that is able to put up numbers even um,
Good QB.
without having a good QB, and
Yeah.
he did that for a great long 6 years of his NFL career. And you know, I just think that goes to show how talented he is. And we're talking
Mhm.
about someone who's made, arguably the best spectacular catch. I know people would give it to Odell, but I mean, DeAndre's was ridiculous. And while I think people give it to Odell because, the extension, it was a touchdown, it was the first time we ever seen like a catch like that, you know, I
Yeah.
get it. But DeAndre Hopkins has shown you that and more, and the consistency, like I said, even without a good quarterback. So I think while at the beginning of the season I was giving it to the Jaguars, I do think
Yeah.
I have to agree with
Yep.
you, Randy, and give it to the Titans. Derrick Henry as well. Icing on the we're gonna put the cherry on top of this, decision here. It's Derrick
Yeah.
Henry. Until I can see, someone consistently stop him. He showed me that he's on the decline, which, realistically, people say as you approach 30, you should be on the decline. He's 29, but he
Mhm.
didn't show any fall off last year, and I don't think he's going to show off any this year. So I got to give the edge to the Titans.
Copy. Yeah, I agree for all those same reasons. I think it's as the great DeAndre Hopkins said himself. It was a greater catch by eye. That's
That
that is just
was a great quote.
the way to go right there. But I definitely think he's going to show out this year. I think new team Tannehill's been hasn't ever had a better supporting cast, and he has to do less than he's ever had to do. So I think that that's good and where he's going to shine. And I think a lot of people also don't give him the credit of Tannehill's got some legs on him, despite the injuries that he's been. He can get out of the pocket and get a first down if he needs, and I think that'll see them through um, in the tough spots of the season. And,
Well, I thought Mahomes was about to score.
And
oh,
oh,
just shy.
knocking on heaven
All right,
door.
so AFC South is done. Let's do
Gabe said it's better than ESPN tuned in.
We're better
let's
than
go to
So
ESPN. Let's go. The spiel. Let's make it
let's take it
yeah,
to
official.
the north side. AFC North. Who we got, Sal?
AFC North. I think the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in that division. Um,
Ah,
they lost some players on the defensive side of the ball, but I mean that offense is high powered. Jamar
okay,
Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd now is the number three, right?
okay.
And he was the
Mm-hmm.
leading receiver on that team for multiple years before all this new young talent showed up. But he's
Yeah.
doing so well, I think, becoming that veteran presence in that locker room, and it really shows. This is, I think, one of the Super Bowl contenders, and I think the Bengals are going to make it out of this tough division. Steelers, obviously, high on them. They played really, really well. High off of preseason, like we said on the spiel, but touchdown Mahomes.
So you predicting Steelers wild card
I
playoff
think
spot?
I think Steelers wild card spot, uh, and I think the Ravens are gonna sneak through as well. I really think. I think
Okay.
all three of those teams are gonna make it to the playoffs.
Thoughts
The
on the Browns and Massage Man?
Well, the Browns, I think Watson is going to be closer to his Houston Texans form, but uh, I think that he's a little bit older now, and he can't rely on his athleticism as he used to. But we'll see. I mean, he's kind of been on ice a little bit, over the last
Yeah.
couple of years. So, maybe his body hasn't deteriorated as much.
Right.
But I mean, that Browns team is solid. I mean, you're talking about Miles Garrett, who's arguably one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best edge rushers. He's up there in the defensive line, and I mean, they got studs all over the ball on both sides. I
Yeah.
mean, Nick Chubb, you argue, is one of the best running backs in the league. That's a big guy. I know Mari Cooper didn't do as well as he probably wanted to last season. So he's got a little bit to prove there. Um, and yeah, I mean their tight ends are solid. I mean, we got David Njoku. Shout out to our
Goku
boy
solid.
Ace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
say shout out
Shout out to
Ace,
Miami.
Njoku.
Shout out to Miami. But
We
yeah,
love
like,
Joker.
yeah, I think that the team is solid, but I mean, if we really want to get into it, and we talked about it last week on the Spiel, this Pittsburgh Steelers team is built to win some games this season. I think, even if Kenny Pickett is not as good as everyone, wants him to be this season, the defense is
Right.
top notch. Najee Harris is a top tier talent. Whether or not he will reach that potential, it all depends on the game script and how things go in these games. I think Matt Canada's job's on the line too as offensive coordinator. But I mean, so far in preseason, he's been doing well. But let's see it in 4 quarters. If they win at home against San Francisco, knock it out of the park, the expectations are going to be high on this team, and rightfully so. I mean, you're talking about T.J. Watt, former Defensive Player of the Year, Minka Fitzpatrick, who the coaches and other personnel have voted as the best safety in the league. This defense is going to be a top five defense. If the offense can be mid tier, 15th place ish type of offense, I think this team is a wild card team. If not, they'll be on the door knocking again. 9-8, 8-9. But I don't think this is going to be the year Mike Tomlin has that losing season. I think people in Pittsburgh are really excited for good reason. And then that Baltimore team, I think a lot of the noise has been around their star quarterback and the future of his time here as a Raven. But I mean, they got some, new faces in there. They got Odell in there. Maybe that will change things up. And they got other young wide receivers that are probably better than Odell at this point. But I mean, if Odell Beckham Jr. can be, 80% of what he was for the Rams when he won the Super Bowl, that team's going to be dangerous too. So this is a great division. I think this is the best division of football. Obviously, I have some bias here, but I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to win the division.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Valid
Yeah,
reasoning. Okay. Go ahead,
I
Quinn.
yeah, I think personally, I kind of wanna pick with my heart here, and I kind of want to do give it to the Steelers.
Hey.
Um, I do think the Bengals are really really good. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in that division. I do think that three-headed monster at receiver with Chase, Boyd, and Higgins is something else. Then you got Mixon, who can easily get you 100 yards a game, or get you a tough 4 yards in a cloud of dust if need be. So that offense is very, very high powered. I do think why I want to go more with my heart here and choose the Steelers. It's the phrase that me and Sal have been using. High off preseason. It was just preseason, but I do think like we have shown that we built this team to contend and battle in different ways. It reminds me a lot of very Belichick, where
Mhm.
Belichick builds his teams to morph and like they're fluid to literally go against any team. If he needs to play a, a series where or a game where it's literally run, 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 run. We have that. We got road graders at linemen now, as we improved our offensive line. We have a great one-two punch at running back with Najee and Warren. We brought in another tight end who's a freak. I know he's probably more of a receiving tight end, but he's shown that he's able to hold his own in blocking. We picked up a young. We have another young tight end with Connor Hayward from last season. You know, he's going to be playing more of the H back fullback role. He's going to kind of look like a Kyle Juszczyk out there.
Mhm.
So our offense is going to be very, very diverse and dynamic. Then you take it to our receivers, and you know I think we have a pretty decent, trifecta as well. Whether you want to say it's Pickens, DJ, and Allen Robinson, who I think is going to be a really good third option, or if you want to say it's going to be Pickens, DJ, and Calvin
Calvin
Austin, you
Austin.
know, showing out this year. Who he's a burner and he's very very quick too. If he gets in front of a defender, if he is able to get behind a defense, at good luck. So I I think um, there's a lot of people wanting to choose the Bengals and they want to even choose like the Ravens over the Steelers. You know, not saying there's any disrespect towards our team. I think a lot of people have recognized that the team is really good. I think they're just always questioning Kenny Pickett because
I
it's only
think
his
best
second
coach in
year,
the division too.
and yeah, um, and they're always questioning Pickett, and they're always questioning Matt Canada, which I think is the biggest question mark for us. And like Sal said, if Matt Canada doesn't, you know, fix his shit, we're gonna just say what it is. You know, you got to fix it up. You got to clean it up. Um, then I don't really see us keeping him around for a long term. You know, I think we're gonna
No.
go in a different direction for offensive coordinator. But um, I just think our defense is ready. We have pass rushers, you know, on the defensive line. We have outside linebackers. We got emerging depth behind our starting outside linebackers at that. So if someone gets hurt, which in the past, if TJ got hurt, just seemed like it ruined our pass rush. But last year, Highsmith was able to still work. Um, he was able to be very, very productive. Then we see Herberg during the preseason. He was looking really, really good, and he's going to be a backup. And we might try to get him in on certain downs. You got Ogunjobi on that line. There's just so much going on at defense, and our secondary. I don't think people are talking about enough as well. Minka is probably the best safety in the league, if not the best safety. He's definitely top three. Then you have Levi Wallace, who was quietly a top 10 corner if you're looking at stats and um, just kind of the enhanced stats as well. And then you have, like I said, TJ Watt. While he was hurt last year, I mean, the dude still is the most disruptive force as an outside linebacker in the league. So
Right.
with all that being said, I have to give them the edge. It's going to be very, very close, though. I know it's pretty much going to be separated by a game or two. I really see it being, we win a division because we went 12 and 5, 11 and 6. But then the Bengals were right there as well, 11 and 5, 11 and 6, 10 and 7. You know, it's just like one game, or maybe we have the same record, but the thing that separated us was at some tiebreaker. You know, it's going to be very, very close. Even the Ravens. I'm gonna bring up the Ravens and the Browns real quick here too. Even the Ravens. I think there's a lot of question marks for them on offense. You know, they're changing a lot of things. They're going from more of a pass heavy, from a run heavy offense to more of a pass heavy offense. Though they say they want to be balanced, but we'll see. We don't know. Defense is still really, really good though, so that's going to keep them in. And as long as they have a good running attack, they'll be fine. But there's lots of questions there. And but I think they can easily fall to being the worst team in a division, not necessarily because they're bad or anything, but just kind of how the cookie crumbles there. And then I think with the Browns, I think Deshaun Watson, given everything that's happened, no matter, we're not even gonna get into that whole situation, but just because of what
Massage
happened, I think.
man.
But regardless of all that, I do think he
It's like
wants to try
tainted.
to move. It's tainted, and I think he wants to try to like move forward from that. And some people
Yeah.
will, allow him to move on, and they'll move on themselves. Some people won't. But I think he wants to show that he was a rising and ascending quarterback when he was with the Texans before all this stuff happened, and then went on to the Browns and everything. Um, but we'll have to see with the Browns. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's been so long for him playing actual meaningful football, only 6 games last year, and we don't know what the defense is going to look like. And they lost, Kareem Hunt, which I think helped their offense a lot, having a 1-2 punch with him and Chubb. Even though I think Chubb is the second best pure running back in the league right now. Um, yeah, we don't know. It's the same thing with the Ravens. There's just a lot of question marks, and I think, ooh, yeah, so it's
Yeah.
fall
I
on.
mean, I think right now that AFC North. I mean, like I said, that's why I picked the Bengals. I think the other three teams have the talent, can make it to the next level. They just have to show and prove. So Quay, you're going with the Steelers though?
Steelers. I am gonna go with the Steelers though.
Okay.
Um,
And then
yeah,
Randy, which one? Which team do you have here in the AFC North?
I'm going with Big Trust. We're going with the flock, the Ravens.
he's staying home. He went
But
Commanders, and he's doing Ravens.
the reason for the Ravens pick, though, I think this is, aside from having just Hollywood Brown, this is a more balanced receiving core for Lamar. I'm
Like his
interested to.
best.
I think Odell will rediscover some form. I don't think he's going to be a dominant like he was before, but I think he's going to be an amazing possession receiver that is going to get that offense to move the chains in certain jams and also protect Lamar's legs so he doesn't feel like he has to get every first down himself. Just being able
It's
to
a fumble.
being able to trust that he can get that mid-range
That's
pass,
good.
get that first down, and Odell's not going to drop the ball.
No.
So often I see, even when Lamar makes a good throw, is his receivers have let him down, with the exception of his tight end.
Yeah.
Um, and Hollywood Brown was a deep threat, but he was not a possession receiver.
Yeah.
And I think when Lamar, if he's anywhere near his MVP form, with a few decent receivers plus his tight end, and the Ravens defense always solid. I think that they can pull it out. Bengals, I would agree, are the favorites though. And I'm high on the Steelers. I think the Browns are good. I think this is the type of year for the AFC North where the worst team is 8-8, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
that tight of a grind. Or
Yeah.
it would be what, 17 games now, right? So
9 and
they'd
8.
be,
Yeah. 9, 8, 8,
yeah,
9. Close to
yeah.
500.
I
I
think
guess.
that's where they're gonna. That's where that division's gonna end up. And
And
we
that's what I
got
was
we
kind
got
of getting at. It's gonna be close. Like
It's gonna be
yeah.
it can
close.
sway.
It's gonna be tight. Everything's gonna be tight. I mean, this and the last division. I think arguably, I think if you're gonna talk about a division that is better, is probably the division to talk about, and that's the AFC East,
Yeah.
right? You got the Bills,
Woo.
who are there. They've been tried. They've been to the playoffs for the last couple of years. They've been making some noise in the playoffs. Last year, they didn't get as much success as they wanted to. But when it comes to the AFC East, I still think this is the team to beat. I think that their quarterback, that quarterback wide receiver, there's going to be some good tandems here in this division, but I do think the Bills are going to continue to chase their dreams, and that championship window is still open, I think, for Buffalo.
Yep, I'm with you there. Buffalo is my pick in the East, but I think that this will be there'll be two teams from this division going to the playoffs. Um,
What's the other team?
and that's the question.
The
Miami,
JETS, Jets.
I like the Jets. I love their coach, and I think
Robert Sala.
So shout out
Aaron
to the
Rodgers
brother.
is a spiteful type of dude. So like, he wants everything for this next part of his career to be super successful. Not that he was amazing at Green Bay, but I think it kind of haunts him that he had so many good regular seasons, but only one like truly one rise to the summit. So I think he is going to have on his mind a deep playoff run at least one more time before his career's up. And what better year than this year on a new team, a solid coach, a good defense, and a lot of young players around him, to where watching Aaron Rodgers some years carrying the Packers was depressing and sad to see a talent kind of floundering, almost like Dame Lillard-esque for certain times where you're like you just know that if he was in a different situation, that it could look a lot different for him in those big games where they kept falling short despite
Yeah,
having a good regular season.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean that I think that's the storyline everyone's following this season
Patriots
is
are a wild card for me though. I think
you think they'll be
I'm
good?
interested to see if Mac Jones bounces back after with some more experience and just a, a solid like game management. I think
Yeah, and
that's possible.
they have some good running backs. Summer Ramondre is the workhorse back, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can give him
And
like
that's
20
Zeke.
carries a game. Zeke
Yep.
just showed up there, and he's kind of on this like needing to show improve. But I think running backs on that side of 30 are usually out the door. But we'll see what happens
Yeah.
here. I mean, that's so yeah, so you're gonna go with the Bills as well. Well, Quay, who
Yep.
do you have there, AFCs?
I'm be right back. I'm gonna hop for a sec, but I should be back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna be listening on my phone though.
Who you
Yeah,
got, Quay?
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go Jets. And a part of me wanted to choose Miami, but I have to I have to steer away from the Bills a little bit. While I do think they'll make it to the playoffs, I think they they have to figure something out, and I don't know if they figured it out. They did kind of fix the issue with bringing in bringing in a running back with Damian Harris. They also have James Cook in his second year, so maybe they sort of utilize him a little bit more as well. Great young talent at running back, but I just think they, in ways, missed their window, which is why I think you have a little bit of friction that's happening with Stephon Diggs. Doesn't seem too catastrophic right now, but I think there's reasons why he's felt that way. Um, their defense has gotten a little softer, mainly in the front seven.
Yeah, Edmonds gone.
Especially, yeah, there's Emmons gone. Von Miller is still out, recovering from his ACL tear last season. So, where they still have, Greg Rousseau and everything like that, and they still have some stuff in that front seven. But I just think they're gonna struggle, and I think Josh Allen's gonna have to play like Patrick Mahomes did last season, where Patrick Mahomes really only had his one solid tight end, one Juju as well as a good second option, but it was definitely more efficient, reading the defenses a little differently. Um, marching down the field instead of trying to look for that big play, which I think the Bills really like counted on a lot in their for their offense. So I'm gonna have to see if Josh Allen has taken that next step and if the Bills have kind of worked out their own internal issues with getting over the hump. Um, I think it's very telling that the Dolphins almost beat them with their third string quarterback. Um, so, with that being said, I kind of think Miami, as long as Tua's healthy, could be better than the Bills. I don't see many people stopping their offense. And then we'll take it to the Jets. The Jets probably would have won their division last year. They lost two games in particular because of the play of Zach Wilson, um, which were two key divisional games against the Patriots. And so now that their quarterback situation is fixed and they have a defense that can match up with anyone as well, they might have the best defense in the entire league. Two great shutdown corners, great safety, seven that can rush and hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Jets are definitely
so
exciting. So you're gonna go with
Jets
them
are.
then for the?
I think I have to. I mean, you got to see what Miami's defense is able to do. That's the biggest deciding factor for me of choosing
Yeah,
this.
they always have to
Um,
win in a shootout, which you might be able to win the division like that, but it's tough to win in the playoffs like that.
the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. So wow, that's all our predictions for all the divisions for. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to see what Scuba Steve thinks or Sports Guru and get some more opinions on that. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see who was the most correct or like what are the biggest surprises. I think it's gonna be really cool to have that retrospective and look back on all these picks that we made. So awesome. Well, we have been on for about an hour. We wanted to help guide all of us as we begin this journey to the NFL season.
Has begun.
We are concluding, it looks like, the first half here. It looks like Detroit on a 3rd and 5. And yeah, well, I think that's it in terms of, I think, our little segment here. I think we just wanted to come up with picks for the NFL division. I hope everyone gets to hang in there tight, watch the end of this first half with us. And then hopefully we can do this again maybe next week, or maybe we'll have an actual show next week and
Yeah,
react to
probably
all of the
probably
week 1 stuff.
look into the spiel. Do the
Wow.
spiel. Talk about week one reaction, fantasy
Week 1.
reactions.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Hope you guys can tune in and enjoy it. Enjoy the show.
Look at that.
Man, let's go. That's crazy. It's funny how like I'm literally a whole play behind you.
You can see it on the screen though, right?
No, yeah. No, I'm watching. I'm watching it on the screen, but I always know what happens because you're literally a play ahead of me on the screen here. So when he was like, "It's third down," I was like, "So what happens on the second down play here that sends them to third down?" And I'm like, yeah, overthrow or yeah, too high."
That's
Okay.
crazy. This half is almost over. And Mahomes
Already.
looks crisp. 7 completions to 7 different receivers, 55 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it's
So I
not that
think
many
that's kind of
yards, but I mean, they've been draining the clock because of the completions and the runs.
uh-huh. And I think that's kind of the issue when there isn't really a receiver to key in on. and you have a quarterback who can see the whole field and process
Wow,
things
that's so smooth.
because that's crazy. Who? Yeah, who's this Rice dude?
It's like Simeon Rice or something.
Sidney Rice. It was funny because I was like Sidney Rice, and I was
Sidney
like, nah, Sidney
Rice.
Rice is old.
Remember when Sidney Rice caught that game winner?
Yep. Don't remind me. Sorry, no.
I'm sure there were some fantasy implications. Let's check our fantasies.
Yeah, I want to know who this Rice dude is. Might have to look him up. Might have to pick him up.
Where's Tony at? Rashi Rice. Yeah, Rashi. He's playing pretty decent right now. Arashi Rice. They really want me to
Yes.
get Fast X on Peacock.
See that?
Let's
The
see it.
Fast X streaming home.
On the 15th. Ashley Furniture. Do you have plans for the rest of the game, or are you just gonna be chilling?
Just gonna be chilling. Allie had came in around like 5:40, so probably gonna chill, smoke with her real quick, see how her day was and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
and then later if you wanna hop on like Fort or something, I should be down to play. I don't gotta be up super early tomorrow.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely want to. I mean, we played earlier. Um, it was like with Steve and with Gabe, and we got a dub. It was nice.
Hey,
Big dubs.
big
DUBs.
big
We'll see
dubbing.
you on this Twitch stream. Me and my team.
Me and my team on the stream, about to lit your ass up like a laser beam.
Ding, ding. I was writing to that belly beat yesterday. Or I wasn't
that
writing, I
de-
was like vibing to it, trying to like get in the zone. Ended up not doing it. I think I ended up playing Madden or something.
that deli meat.
She bad, she's showing her pants. Go, go. That beat is wild.
this beat, this beat is fire though.
Look at that belly. Hey. Hey.
Ooh, that was a he launched that.
Hey. Hey. She bad, she's showing her pants.
I do like this beat though for like a scary movie beat because it is a little bit like it's not like haunting per
It's like
se, but kind
nauseating
of
almost.
yeah. Oof.
Put a flag on that play.
on his bitch, on his shit, on his poopy. That line kills me. It's just like
Blah, blah. She bad, she's showing her pants. Oh, Hutchinson got held. Hutchinson, the Next
Yeah,
state.
I just like watched it play in real time. Like I said, there's on the whole play behind you. I'm like, oh, yeah, he got help.
What is that? Her dad, his dad, and his wife.
Ah,
Oh. Oh.
I'm not streaming anymore, so you can talk freely. Mm-hmm.
Hey, and he was in the commercial. The song is tough.
This song is so tough. Mm-hmm. And I like when he talks about like, oh, like originals. I'm like, yo, that's clever as hell because he's talking about originals, like the O's, like.
Uh,
I haven't been there in a long time, but yo, literally
it's
just getting like a
closed now.
boatload of fries. They closed it?
It's been closed for a while now. Yeah. Pandemic, since the
What?
pandemic, I think. Yeah, it shut down. Pandemic killed the restaurant. I think it was gonna close before the pandemic, and the pandemic just,
Uh,
yeah.
just yeah, it's like icing on the cake at that point. Okay.
Oh, look at this play.
I'm about to see it in real time. Bring them to the out. Woo! Valdez. That was crazy.
Crazy.
Valdez. Marquez.
All right.
Let me get this McKinnon TD right here, though. Yeah, he's definitely scoring. Who's
Wow.
that ADB? Who's that?
Whoever Kelsey owners must be happy. Except they probably did not pick up this dude. Wow. Shouts to Mahomes. 14-7. What a great first half. What a great start to the season.
Great
All
start.
right. We'll call it